I know that because what happened is there was one in the yard. In the yard, she free. Came over. They nibble branches are from here to there, and they drag them into the water. Where are they going? Upstream or downstream? I didn't know. And then finally one day I came over and I did see them. They're taking the water here to go down. Coming here. And sure enough, they later, she calls me hey, there's somebody in the yard. Sure enough, there he is. Nibbling away. I had wire anyway, I whacked. Next thing you know, turn around, come back to me. That's what I have. Maybe the lake that it shouldn't, but it was right there against the background, on the water, and I'm looking at the bridge, fire, and then he kind of went down. So after I stopped, he was on the ground. I touched him 2 more times. So I know I got 2 holes. I skinned them out. I weighed them. 45 pounds. 25 pounds. Well, in the morning, it's wide. Again, so I put the skin in, but I cut the head. Anyway, I got in, and the one that I did turned around, looked like a chicken. Whoever it is, female, couldn't tell point of making sure, but there's little ones. Because they got trees about that color. In other words, trees like this. Well, they got some lilac swords and they got a couple others. They get off that big. Yeah, but they keep them back. This month. I got 3 trees over here. You know what you do on that tree? See, it was all around it. Like this. You painted with copper. What do you do to see it? They're nice. But anyway, I've been putting apples in the yard there. Again, hopefully, I haven't, well, as a matter of fact, they came over to the house. Just as we're pulling out, we had to go out to eat. So we're 4 of us. Just as I'm pulling out, right when we pulled in together, I'm pulling out of my driveway, 2 deer. First time I saw. That's the first time in 2 years it's a yard. Well, anyway, they're I hope they come around, make sure we have the apples. But anyway, I see traps. Little critters. I can't tell what they are. The funny thing about it, I see traps this big like that. Some like but then there's sort of a thread. I don't know if it's a tail thread. I don't know if there's more beaver. But I do see they're up there. They do. Yeah, that's what they're before they used to come out at 4:30. So I see them, at first. Now they're smart. Whether kids pick up and get arrested or feel like daddy and mommy, I'm going to get you. So there. I can't get a hold of them.
We're just waiting on the highway superintendent to that's not our kid, but he's like out there. So
I don't know anything about sending it back, you know. So I didn't bother. You know, like you said, set a couple of tracks. I didn't know what to call What about what? It must have been a big one. Knock that over the side. And it's the tree is that high. The wire cage, and they got it at that high. I mean, it is. Yeah. The wire can do it. Yeah, well, that's what I did. I went over to the finally got wire, chicken wire, you know, just plain chicken wire like stuff. So I cut that out, put the chicken wire, three of here. Wire cages around like this, and then inside that, I put the chicken wire, stood it up another 2 feet. So I got chicken wire inside the window. And they got two of his yard. The thing is, I think the yard, see, there's a string that comes in between all the his. I think there is. He had the guy spare. And we took it. I have a feeling they're there. I haven't been there. I think they're gonna start building there. I don't know. His house is built, there's an overhang and all kind of wood stored underneath them. I think they're living in a wood. But now they're water down.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order at 10:31. Please raise your flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We did not receive any correspondence this month besides the Brennan Humane Society contract, which we'll discuss later in the meeting. So we'll move on to the highway superintendent's report.
One thing that I did not put in the report was on my report, I was appointed email and to deputy superintendent, just so everybody knows that. We've got the following sand is needed, the higher settlement bridge was hit today by one of our trucks. There was damage to the box beam and brackets over the post. We're gonna estimate for the repairs. We had another retirement, so we were still looking to hire somebody. Truck 9 has troubles with the headlights. Dave's working on installing a new harness. The F-550 has had some problems with the sander. We replaced the control module twice now. We've also backed in the tree, which caused some damage to most of the plastic on the back of it. Got to shoot a little bit. We have to fix that. We had several air leaks that we've been working on. The FEMA calls continue. Still waiting on the design for the border show from the engineer. I did get an email from him. He's waiting on somebody else to do something. Working on an alternate project for the Windfall Creek to Hollywood Bridge still. We should be able to, purchase medium duty truck with long hopper, which are one of the best we're doing now. The truck will also be a crew cab, which will allow us to get the crew out for smaller jobs.
Did we, take the deposit?
Yes.
The board have any questions?
I do, but I was gonna do a review at the end, so,
Under new business, you want to discuss it?
yeah, I mean, we can.
Moving on to code enforcement. Lauren, let's give your report.
Issue one building permit, with the renewal, issue one CFC, for garage, and issue one inspection.
Do you have any questions? Start to slow down? Is it starting to slow down? It's fine. Thank you, Lauren. The assessor did not issue a report for this month, but I did message him and ask him if he had anything. Dog control officer, Karen, you're up.
Okay. Well, since the last meeting, everything was quiet until 7. I didn't even receive a call till 7. And, that was, 8:30 and I was called to go that there was a fire in the residence in Stratford that had some dogs that had to be picked up, and I was told it was 2. And then when I got there, there was 3. And then there was a 4th one, but the guy said his son was going to take it. These dogs were so filthy and so stinky, and decided to defecate and urinate in my car, in my house, trying to get them to the crate. I mean, these are great, and puke all over the place. So I cleaned that up, my car got cleaned by 11:30 that night. And then, the next day I proceeded to give them all of that. I had put in calls to the shelter, Brennan, about taking the dogs, and they said, let me get back to you. And I have to talk to the manager first. They got back to me and said they would probably take the little fluffy dog, but they wouldn't take the others. And I didn't feel right separating the dogs because the fluffy dog and the young female that's pregnant, they're very bonded. When I gave them the bath, they were like, the one was in the bathroom with the other one, and as soon as that one got out of the tub, they were hugging each other, hanging on each other. I put in calls all over. I called her from Humane Society. I sent them 9 pictures of the dogs. They were supposed to get back to me today. I talked to Paws for Paws. They said they would get back to me. I haven't heard from them either. They're trying to find fosters to take these dogs. I don't understand why the Humane Society will not take these dogs since we're under contract with them. These dogs have no place to go, and I'm still taking care of them. And the only thing I can say is saving grace is that they're not sitting in my house anymore, because I take them for walks. And because they were throwing up so much, I cooked for them hamburger and rice, because they had to have something that was easy on their tummy. But these dogs need to be placed, and that's where I'm having a problem. So, I figured Scrapers is open tomorrow, so I'm gonna be calling Scrapers soon. The only thing the Humane Society said to me in Gloversville was, call Steve Pepper's, see if he can fix it. And I was a little upset about that, but I was very professional. And I said, thank you for your advice. And that was it. I still am waiting to hear to the state about it. I did talk to the people that own the dogs, and I said, listen, these dogs are your responsibility. You have to place them. And he said, no, you need to come and get the other dog we have because my son paid. And I said, well, you're in Herkimer County, contact Herkimer County. They said, your dog is no longer in the town, Stratford or in Fulton County. They said, and I'm not crossing the county line when And it took me a long time to, they gave me a lot of misinformation about how to get in touch with them. None of them had phones, but it turns out they had phones. So I was able to get all that information, phone, gave me an instruction. He said, you know, when the man answered the phone, I said, are you the owner of these dogs? And he said, no, I said, but I hope you speak to him, I need to speak to him. And then when the other got on, I said, I need your number, I need your information. So,
But to confirm, the owner said that they would relinquish their rights to these animals.
yes, they did. They said they would relinquish all rights, but as a town, I don't think we can, you know, if we say, all right, then sign them over to us, then we are responsible for the dog.
No, I mean, you know, running.
Right, but I told that, I told Hurricane County that, I told Paulus Paulus that, you know, if anybody has any other options, I would greatly appreciate it.
Well, I put in a few calls with Mike way in the back. Do you have any advice on the situation? Would you mind coming a little closer? I hate to put you on the spot, but,
What's the situation?
go ahead, Karen.
I contacted Brandon to take 3 dogs that I picked up because there was a house fire in the town of Stratford, and the residents are now homeless, and there's no place for these dogs, and, they're not really interested in taking these dogs. They called, the woman called the manager, and the manager said they would take 1, but, you know, so I would be still stuck, I have 3
And we-
dogs that
We have a contract.
Yeah, I have to see what the contract says.
I was just looking through their new contract that I was gonna discuss later in the meeting and have you take a look at, before the board approves it. But it does talk about lost or homeless dogs, and in this case, these dogs are homeless because of the house fire, or maybe I'm wrong. But we can't indefinitely have them stay with our dog patrol officer. Her job is to collect the dog and have the animals on Main Society or another shelter. Nobody's willing to take the dog, so they've been in her care the last week.
They're licensed, right?
No, they have no licenses, they have not gotten their rabies vaccination,
they have parasites.
they're not in the best condition. But it's not Karen's responsibility to indefinitely house them. So if you have any advice, Mike, and I will after the meeting pull our current contract and make a copy for you. Do you have any questions for Karen?
Well, in the meantime, your house is valuable right now, so you put in a voucher, right? This is, I can't remember, it's $2.99 a pound, I think that's pretty, generous. I think it's a little more than that, but in the meantime, can we compensate her for time that we're keeping them, until we figure out the new plan, because you have it for 3 nights now, 2 nights?
Look, I'm not looking for that.
Well, either way, I mean, that's something
I
that,
just want them to go.
okay.
But
still, but still, in the meantime, I mean, you're taking on these jobs that no one else can take in, so I think the board.
Well, according to the Brennan contract, it's $25 a day that we would have had to pay to have them at
Right,
the
that's
Main
what I-
Society. So if the board wants to discuss compensating Karen for holding on to these dogs.
Absolutely.
Because technically, when you pick up an animal, how long are they usually in your possession before they are to be handed over?
If I pick them up tonight, it goes the next morning. If I pick them up during the day, then it goes the next day.
Okay, so usually it's within 12 hours max. Okay.
Heather, I know it's not. At any rate, okay, so these people can just walk away from their dogs and say, I don't want them anymore, so you guys deal with them. And we can't,
No, it's not right, but we're trying to find, she can't just let them loose either.
no.
If we can't find anybody who takes the dogs, it's a problem.
We can't,
liable, that's the point.
And that owner doesn't know. Yeah.
Actually, if the Brennan won't take them, the way they're saying, if it's in the contract to say, like, the homeless, people to take their animals, I just don't understand. I mean, there's nothing mean about these dogs. I mean, the mother and the daughter and the fluffy one, the mother doesn't get along with anybody, not even its own dog, daughter, so that's a separate situation. But they're all really very socially loving dogs. I mean, they're in my house, I got my dog locked in my bedroom, because my dogs are not.
Right.
So when I take them for a walk, they don't just go back in the cage. I bring them over and I'm petting them and talking to them, because it's not right, it's not their fault, you know. You just feel bad for them, but I don't feel that bad, I hate them. No.
So if there's something in the contract that might contact Brendan and tell them that they're contractually obligated to take these dogs, you know, hopefully we can get that done by tomorrow. Is that something we'd be able to do, Mike, if you find something? Okay, yeah, I'll give you a copy tonight. We'll see what we can do. That's, you know, unfortunately, it's kind of no man's land at the moment. I don't really know legally where we stand.
Everybody's trying to do something, you know. I'll still be working on it, believe me.
I'm sorry this is going on, but we'll try to get some of it. Finding the dog, safe house. In the meantime, they'll put in a voucher when it's all said and done for compensation of food that you have to give them and. This is right here, we already have some of that we're gonna discuss in this meeting. Okay. Any further costs you can put in for the end of your voucher. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Okay. There's no BCI report, obviously, the program shut down until the spring. The justices, monthly report, the board received, we did not collect any money for the month of November. Historian, Mara, would you like?
Yes, not a lot, we discovered, intake of the, doctors that, they're in good meeting on taking.
Board have any questions for the board? Cemeteries, any news on cemeteries or nothing? Nothing we have yet.
Yeah, so, I think we'll have to address that next year. And then, I'll do January, start to move on the,
I'm sorry.
yeah, January, we start a new series of the site. So, I'll stay on the.
Well, I just wanted to thank you, Laura, you've done a lot of work behind the scenes for the historian. I know how much work you've been going through papers that shouldn't even be touched with human hands on. Masks and gloves and trying to preserve this town's history has been a real big job, and I appreciate everything that you've done. It's been so great to keep us all informed, and I just want you to know personally, I appreciate it. Thank you. Larry, would you like to do a town clerk's report?
Really, nothing to report on it.
Okay.
It's slow and mostly hunting licenses. And working on the record.
Board have any questions for Larry? Thank you, Larry. As for my report, I'd like to put forth a resolution to accept the calendars for, a bookkeeper. Joanne Young, she submitted her 3-month calendar of activities. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Stratford has determined for bookkeeper Joanne Young, one, that the hours for the bookkeeper are 9.33 hours per month, or 1.55 days per 6-hour standard workday. 2, that the term for the appointed bookkeeper for town of Stratford began on April 1st, 2021, and expires December 31st, 2021. And 3, that the 3-month calendar of hours and activities has been received and maintained by the town clerk. Further resolved that a copy of this resolution will be available for public review in the town clerk's office during normal business hours between December 11th, 2021 through January 11th, 2022. I'd like to put forth that resolution. Can I have a second? I'll second it. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. I also wanted to inform the board that there was a check box in the mail for instant aggregates for the highway department. Check number 37
712 for the amount of $513.44, which was dated October 16th. They never received and notified me, and I waited another week just to be sure that they never received it, and went ahead and reissued the check, contacted them and said, is there a possibility if you do receive it, you can return it? They told me, no, we will cash it. So I had to put this stop payment order in, but it does not cost the town any money to do. So I just wanted the board to be aware of it. I voided the check and there's a stop payment order on it. At no cost to the town. I also wanted to notify the board that I put in the 2022 landfill use renewal application with Fulton County Department of Solid Waste, so we can continue to use their solid waste facility here in our township. I also wanted to notify the public that solid waste holiday hours, very easy, we're closed Christmas and New Year's. So I'm pretty sure we're not looking forward to going to dump on those days, so it shouldn't affect anybody's livelihood, but the public, no, that's important. As for the financial report, we received our 2021 April to September mortgage tax for the amount of $4,412.25. The board has received their QuickBooks monthly budget update report. And I'd also like to put forth a couple budget transfers that I noticed we needed to do. There might be some questions with these, so we're going to go forward we're going to take money out of our general repairs highway personnel line, which we had a little over $13,000 left that we're not using anymore. We're now into the snow line, so we are going to decrease that line by $13,035.59, and we're going to increase the machinery contractual line DA 5130.4 for $9,954.23. DA 9730.7, the debt interest for the bond anticipation note, we were short $43. DA 9040.8, workers' compensation, $3,000. And I want to explain to the board that due to the union contract with the highway department, that one of our personnel was on short-term disability, and according to the contract, that the town was responsible for putting in $120 a week for 26 weeks while that person was out. Technically, there was 1 week waiting period. So it's 25 weeks at $120 and $3,000. I spoke to the bookkeeper, and she recommended that the money that was paid out should be put into the workers' compensation line. I did not present this earlier to the board because I wanted to see the total amount before doing so we didn't have to do multiple transfers. Finally, DA 5110.4, general repairs contractual, $38.36 Also, the deputy clerk line is running short. I'm going to take some fault in that. In the beginning of the year, when our previous clerk, Diana Matsui, sick, Larry used quite a few hours of the deputy contractual line, which was a total of $1,500 a year filling in before he was appointed as town clerk. Then he got his own deputies, and they've been doing magnificent job cleaning out that safe room and getting everything in order with the town clerk's office, but unfortunately that line did run over. So I am asking if the board would approve $135 come out of my contractual line to cover it, A1220.4, and take the remaining $664 of the town clerk contractual, subtract the $70 post office box renewal fee. That was clean out his account. He has stated there's no more charges for the rest of the year. He's not going to submit for mileage. He wants to do it in his deputy. So we'd like to take $664 of his town clerk contractual line and $135 of my supervisor contractual line in order to, sorry, still not to be done. It would be $914. So that'll also leave about $149 to fill in for any remainders he has. He does have a day or two in the summer. He'd like to use his deputy while he's at it. I would like to support those his budget transfers for this resolution. Can I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right. We're going on to payment of bills. Before we do so, I'd like to discuss a few instances. I might have to get our esteemed lawyer's, opinion on something, but first, Karen, our dog control officer, submitted tonight her vouchers for, cleaning, which is $125. If the board would like to take a look, I'm happy to pass it around. And also the cost at the moment that she calculated for, taking care of the 3 dogs at her residence, which is only $14.99. I don't know how we're gonna afford to pay it, but, these are not in the current abstract, the general abstract, but I am, requesting a motion from the board if we could add them on, for this month, so I can issue a check to her this Saturday for the cost that she is out. And her not being able to submit her cleaning, voucher on time is partly due to having to take care of these dogs, so I think you're only right.
I'm the one that called her. You can blame me for that too.
Cleaning, yeah. So, I'd like to make a motion to accept, 2 vouchers for Karen Jateway, to be added to the December 2021 general abstract in the amount of $14.99, and and that will go under her contractual line 8351.04, and then the second voucher would go under contractual line 81620.4, would be building contractual in the amount of $25 for her cleaning up to November 5th. I'd like to hold that motion for a second.
I'll second. Everybody seconded.
The other one down was pretty much too.
Yeah, long as she's signed. Is there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Mike, I just have one question for you. The justice submitted his voucher for mileage, but he included 2020 in it, and I'm not sure what to do because technically it would be the previous fiscal year. He does have enough in his contractual lines for us to pay it, but it would be under a different mileage rate, for reimbursement, and I just didn't know legally if that was something we were even allowed to do for previous year costs.
Yeah, why did you submit it?
I don't know. I can't answer that. He did talk to me about submitting his voucher for mileage, but only after I looked at it when he left did I see that there was 2020 included. So I did I did have the town clerk put his mileage for 2021 through. He will definitely get paid for that, but I wasn't comfortable putting 2020 because I thought it was a different year. We moved out of the club. So that's not something we're able to overcome. Okay.
Well, yeah, the way you get it wrote down, we just signed for.
Yeah, so he did get 2021, mileage, but legally I didn't know if we were allowed to do that, so I wanted to talk to the lawyer here and see if there was anything we could do. So unfortunately, the board will have to deny the mileage for 2020. Are there any other questions on the abstracts for the summer? Can I have a motion to pay the December 2021 prepaid general and highway?
I got a motion. To pay all the bills.
Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right, on to public speaking. We will open public speaking at 15. If you can come up to the podium and state your name and give us the state street that you live on, so. And try to keep your comments limited to 5 minutes, or if you choose not to respond.
Very honorable people. Karen, I have dog food there. 3 separate bags, and I open them, and the dog only eats like this much of like kibble and bits, and the next one is that Rachel stuff like that. And I have to seal it back up, and it varies all the time, it eats different. I think I got 3 half bags of dog food for one. You gonna be home tomorrow? All right, I'll drop them off.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Other Sharon?
have Walla now been on her Joni. Heather's been on 2 years as a counselor, so, I wanted to thank them for all of the time they put in as a, board, and I can't speak for Lorraine completely, but I'm sure we'll miss them, or at least I'll miss my table buddies for the most part, so, thank you very much for your service. It's not easy for anybody who hasn't been on the board, so I really appreciate everything they've done for us. I also wanted to, thank Mr. Albanese and Norm, as it looks like they may not be with us next year, but I don't know, thank them very much for their service. Mr. Albanese, there was a lot of questions answered. Norm, good job. I don't know if you can hear me, but thanks to Norm as well too. So, it goes without saying, you can't run a town without all of you guys in here, so I really appreciate it. I want to make sure that we can run, do, and thank you very much for your service. So, I just figured you weren't gonna thank yourself, so I wanted to make sure we did that. So, like I said, appreciate everything you've done on this board. And then for highway, I just wanted to make mention of this, highway, I'm extremely disappointed in for this year. I don't know if the public knows this, but there are 2 vehicles that are not able to be used for someone's test run. I don't know if you can give us a little more insight on that, Mary, but it's a big concern going into this winter now, what's going on with our vehicles. So if you could let us know what's happening. I've been noticing where I am on Sealy Road, that takes about 5.5 hours for them to come around and do the whole route, and we've only had about 2 inches of snow so far, so if you could give us a little more insight on that, and also why we're borrowing trucks and small trailers tomorrow for some of you.
The truck that I mentioned, truck number 8, or truck number 9, they had issues with the headlights. We could work on putting harness in, but, as it snows pretty much every day, he's been in the plow truck also. So we worked on the truck, and he's got out on the snow. The other truck number 8, has some air leaks in it, so it would not get through the, pre-trip inspection or the road test. And we were fixing the air leaks, and there was one part that we needed that was ordered from Tracy that was supposed to be there this morning, that did not show up this morning. So we can't finish that repair. So Salisbury is allowing us to use one of their trucks to, go take the road test.
So my question is, are those 2 vehicles safe for our guys to be driving in general? Is that even safe for a man to take it as a driver's test?
Yeah, the truck works fine. It's,
It won't pass the pre-test inspection is what I'm concerned about.
It-
So that's why.
as soon as, once we put this, manifold in, that was supposed to be here today, it will pass the pre-trip inspection.
So then they're still driving those 2 vehicles though, currently.
No, the one with the headlight problem is not being used at all.
So we have 1 vehicle being used or 2? 1 or 2 vehicles being used right now?
We're using the 2020 Mac, we're using the 07 Sterling, we're using the F-550.
So the F-550 for everybody else is not one of the largest plow trucks. That's also because we only have.
We've used that truck since I've been here for almost.
Sure, but we usually had 3 plow trucks out on the road.
Yeah.
We only currently have 2.
Right.
And one of them, I don't know enough about it, but I think one of them should be locked out for safety because of the hair break. But that's my personal
Well, if
opinion.
you would like to unstuck the truck, you're welcome to do that.
Well, that's the first thing I'd like to say too, that I heard there is a sports truck that is out in the yard that's been over a year and a half that hasn't been used. That we're trying to put back in rotation so that there's a third truck.
We used it last year.
So it's Roy's old truck for layman's terms.
It was used last month.
So Roy's truck, so that same truck, I'd like to be inspected before our guys go out in it.
Not as a plow truck.
As a plow truck, or will it not pass inspection, is what I'm asking?
It does not need an inspection to be used as a plow truck.
You're gonna have to break that down a little bit
The
more.
truck doesn't have to be inspected, am I correct?
To operate this plow truck is now a piece of machinery, it's not a truck. Piece of machinery does not need, New York State inspection.
Is it safe?
Yes, I won't put it out if it's not safe.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking, then it should be passing the test if it's safe. It should be passing an inspection if it's safe.
If it was needed to pass inspection, it does not need it.
I'd like to have it as an inspection, just for the safety of our guys, is what I'd like to see. And then also on that, back to the two CDL drivers, is the man that's going tomorrow comfortable with using a vehicle that he's never practiced
He had the opportunity to practice on it today.
So if he fails, I'd like to put it forward for the board or whoever comes next. If he fails, I'd like him to be reimbursed to go again, because who's gonna drive? I failed my first driver's test because I haven't.
Well, he's already failed.
Yeah, already failed.
They have to pay for their own driver's test at the Department of Transportation.
And when they're using a vehicle that they've been practicing on, and then they can't use that vehicle, kind of changes things up. So I think that's only fair. So I'd like to see that if he doesn't pass, I'd like to see that we reimburse him getting his truck, because that should have been something that we had knowledge of this. I've asked you every meeting since the summer of what's going on with the vehicle, and you told us they'd always do it, and they're not. So that's all I'm saying, is I'm a little disappointed going into this season now without having.
But when they make their appointment for their road test, they pay for that themselves, the town does not pay it.
Yes.
So how can you reimburse somebody if they fail the test? How can you?
They use the vehicle that they're comfortable on. If I gave you a bus that you've never used, you would probably feel a little uneasy using it. That's our part, when we want someone to work from. That's what I think.
No,
For $40, I think it's only fair.
no.
But that's
You have to
happening.
get the DOT and you have to pay it out of your own pocket, am I correct? The town does not pay for their road test, so why do you want to reimburse someone that fails the test?
Because they're not using the vehicle they've been practicing on, common sense, so fair. It's not his fault that the vehicles don't work. He's gonna give it his best shot.
Well, it's not his fault that the vehicles all broke down too either.
It
This
is
man came in with all those vehicles down like they were, and he's trying so hard to get vehicles back to where they should be, and he only has a few guys who work. I don't know what you expect out of him.
I also like to adjust that into the workforce. So if this man doesn't get a CDL, where are we at with part-time? Where are we at with part-time? We've only had 2 CDL drivers driving the whole town, which is making it a lot longer to get everything plowed, which is something that I brought up to you before. So I'm just asking where we're at.
I have people that are willing to work as needed basis. I've been trying to avoid that as best I can.
We don't have a vehicle for it.
Currently, we don't, and this is not the first winter we've had this issue.
Exactly.
We went into the winter I started here, we had a truck that was down from prior to the winter season, it was down all summer. It did not get back into service until, the end of January. That was the first year I was here. You can't really blame that on me. After we got that truck in service, another one went down with the radiator, it took us 6 weeks to get. Again, I did what I could to get the truck back in service. I try to put these trucks back in service as soon as I can. It takes time to make that happen.
So the truck that they're gonna do the road test tomorrow, is it kind of identical to what
Yes.
we've been driving here? Well, what's
But
wrong
it
with
says
that?
town of Salisbury on it.
What, is that gonna make a difference?
To back up here, I'm surprised you're disappointed in the highway, because I am thoroughly thrilled with our highway department. Number one, you can't tell me back in August, okay, Mindy Larry said the trucks would be all up and running, and he's got a plan for each truck, what he's gonna be working on, trying to get a rotating schedule of, as this truck is costing more money, that's gonna be the next one out, this one's gonna be the next one up and running. But it's out of his control if something breaks, or 2 trucks break at the same time, so we're out of 2 trucks at the same time. But meanwhile, I just want to bring this up then, Larry, while we're on the truck. The Irish Settlement Bridge was hit by one of our trucks, damaging to the box beam. Now, I don't know that much about it, but who, or doesn't matter what driver, but is that because it's slid, or somebody going too fast, or trying to make the corner? And this other one, the F-550, they backed into a tree. Was it, what, the backup camera didn't work, the mirrors weren't turned off? I mean, what, you know, take a little bit, are they taking it easy with these trucks?
Correct.
I'm not naming names or anything, I just think Larry has done an excellent job with his highway department for what he came into. He's patching and bubble gumming, and I think he's doing a wonderful job.
He came into a bunch of junk and now he's trying to create.
But that's all I'm gonna say.
So I just heard the record, and I would like to say, I don't necessarily disagree with him, I'm just going off the facts of what are happening now. We have a highway department that is completely understaffed, we have a highway department that doesn't have any trucks that are serviceable right now. And personally, I don't think they're very safe, we have one that possibly might be safe. I think this is an issue that we could have addressed a lot earlier than we already have. And I think going into the winter, it's gonna show for the rest of the season. So I really hope that we get it figured out going into the new year, and I know we hope that we have
What do we,
staff.
I know what we can.
what do we need, an
Let's
inspector
put
on
our
site,
like the
maybe?
county take care of our roads. There, how do you like that?
To do what?
Have the county come in and do the roads. We don't have manpower. Disband what we have the county come in and do our roads.
How many men do we have working right now?
4.
How many have PDL? How many are we allowed to have? Full staff.
I just had a guy retired one.
Which is the next part that I'll bring up as well. He was assigned as deputy and we're giving him a prorated amount. I think he should be given the full amount for his deputy position. And that's something to the board that I'm sure you're very happy about bringing that up right now, but that's something that he was, appointed to at the beginning of the year. That's what it is.
Yeah, but he's not doing his job. I spoke to Mike Albanese about the appointment of deputy, highway superintendent, and I said, this particular person went in for, short-term disability. And once he goes in for short-term disability, he cannot be pulling any money from the town, correct? So to compensate him for time as deputy highway superintendent during the time he was out would not be correct. So prorating it, taking the full amount of $1,000, dividing it out by 52 weeks of the year, counting out all the way up to his short-term disability and compensating him for that time would be the correct way, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And
That's what I put forward, and I wanna make sure I did it correctly. But I know that it could affect him if he's being compensated while he's pulling disability.
You're not disabled, you get a paycheck. So, you know, what's the
So we're
partial
doing it
disability?
according to the law.
No, it's a partial disability, but the full disability, how can you work?
Right, he wasn't working. He wasn't willing and able to work. And for comptroller purposes, this would also.
No. Again, like you've been talking about, we kind of, it's a bookkeeping.
I
The
just
same
want
way we pay for the mileage for the judge, it's a bookkeeping thing. That budget was closed.
I
There's
just
no
wondered-
way now to make an adjustment to that.
I just wondered because he was appointed on January 1. So technically, what,
Well,
technically,
technically-
rolling, we pay him each week, he would have been paid one stipend. So that's why one stipend, one-time deal. It's not like we pay you each month, it's a one-time stipend. That's why I questioned it.
Well, at the moment, we just had a new deputy highway superintendent appointed, so he technically should be compensated for the time he was appointed to the end of the year. You can have multiple, people retire, people get hired, so we cannot take the full amount that we've allocated for the deputy highway superintendent, and just give it to one person, he retires and we have nothing left in the fund to pay the next one that's appointed. So the most equitable way to do this is to divide it out by week. And make sure that each person who fulfills that role during their time, they're compensated appropriately. Because as Larry knows, you can have 3 different deputy town clerks, and we need to make sure that budgeting wise.
No, let me say this, I think for retirement purposes, that's the way it's got to be. In other words, you can't just put in a block of time and say, you know, that's what we compensated for. You gotta say it was from, you know, I mean, I think you just proved somebody's work schedule today. Didn't you at this meeting,
somebody's yearly hourly rate.
Yes.
That's what that's all about. Because that's for retirement, to say you earn every hour of retirement that you're being paid for. Whereas if you get a chunk of money, how do I accredit your retirement? Do I just take a percentage of it? No, you have to show. It all resulted from a bunch of lawyers who were representing school boards who were employees technically of the school board, and they were getting retirement credits, but they weren't submitting time cards saying, I'm working this many hours a week. And a couple of them ended up being charged criminally. And so now the comptroller is I have to submit as a part-time DSS attorney a time card every week that shows every hour that I work. And it's for the retirement credit that I'm getting for it. So that's why it has to be broken down that way. I mean, it makes sense.
So for moving forward, 2022, it should be a weekly thing then for your deputy to be submitting them.
Well, it doesn't go into payroll, it's a voucher, just to clarify, Mike, it's not towards retirement, but.
All right, so he's not getting retirement credit.
No, it's not for retirement, it's the voucher based, but
Still, it's based on hours.
it's based on the time that they were appointed. Even if they worked or they didn't work.
So if there's an audit, it shows what it was paid. I mean, that's what we are arguing with the highway department about, hours versus days. You know, the controller doesn't recognize our days. They recognize that, especially when your days.
Let's cut down that conversation after.
No, I'm just saying, it's the same kind of idea. That
she's not privy to that conversation, that's why I'm asking you to.
it's an issue of how town gets credit.
Yes.
And I just don't think that is something that would be ours, that's, it's a statement, you know what I mean, it's, completely different, so that's why.
If that one, right now.
We could make it ours, we definitely could make it ours, but that's what I mean.
It could be like the deputy town clerk, where in the event, if you have a maximum amount that they can be paid, and they would have an hourly rate, that would have to be done during the 2020.
Right, and that's what I,
So.
that's not how I.
That's not something we can do right now.
And that's not how I understood it in 2021, that's why I thought that.
No.
So, and it never has been that
Because
way, that's why.
it's usually one person is appointed and they stay the entire term, but in unique situations where you have one or two throughout the year, we have to make sure that every person that was appointed is compensated. We can't get the full amount to the person who did the first 3 months and give nothing to the rest. Nor should we be constantly changing the budget and adding amounts each time as the new person comes on. They're on for 6 months, they get $1,000, they leave, and now we'll be up less, we spent $2,000 for 2 deputies, and we still have 3 months of the year left. So, if that's something that needs to be switched around, or you think there's a better system, then that absolutely can be looked into for the next fiscal year. Is there any other business or old business? On to new business, I'd just like to announce that, the 2022 reorganization meeting is set for January 3rd, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. and there'll be an executive session for personnel between 6 and 6:30. The new supervisor of Stratford in the crowd, if you'd like to say hello, Dick, or.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank Al for all his years of service to our community, for sure. How many years Al has been on board? Too many?
16.
16.
You still got hair left, even though this is like very good.
Okay. That being said, is there anything else the board would like to discuss before I adjourn the meeting?
Well, happy holidays, everybody.
Happy
holidays,
holidays,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas, Happy New Year.
One more thing. Thank you, John.
You're welcome, Jack.
I forgot you was behind me.
Okay, I make the motion, we adjourn this meeting at 7:23.
My clock says 7:19.
Okay, 7:19. You have, okay.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
What's Gary up to? Not much, man. About 5, 4, 5. Yeah. Hi, Nick. Yeah. Been hot, man. Saw that.